What they didn't realize, I'm not only a mourning nephew with muddy boots, I'm also a licensed land use attorney, and they'd made one deadly legal mistake. At first I thought it was a joke, some agitated neighbor's joke or a con from the title of a tabloid. But no, the man before me, clean shoes, clipboard, tie shouting corporate ego, was icy cold deadpan. He cleared his throat as if he'd rehearsed it and intoned, per HOA, cumulative fines on this property total $47,322.14. You have 30 days to pay or foreclosure commences. I stared at him, then the dirt on my boots. Then again, you waited behind a fence, two goats and a rusted old tractor to tell me my barn's an eyesore. He didn't flinch, so there I stood on a sorry-looking patch of ground. I wasn't sure I even wanted grasping in my hand a bill attributing ugliness to my late uncle from the Clinton era. The timing was appalling. Uncle Ted owned this spread since the 80s, long before anybody who showed up, and way before they designated this dusty ranch a community. In 1997, I was in diapers, but this character had violations, unauthorized fencing, non-compliant animal containment, and my pet peeve, unapproved shade. Structures the tractor roof Ted rigged for the goats. A real nuisance, I told the Thai guy. Phil, of course I'll look into it. He grinned like a server after a bad tip, handed me a brochure with an invitation to join the community officially, whatever that meant, and pranced off, self-satisfied as sin. I stood there letting the absurdity seep in, then burst out laughing so hard he nearly fell in the dung. Not because it wasn't amusing, but because it was just so insane. It shattered me, honestly. I did not inherit a mansion. This was Ted's rebellion retirement, 50 rough acres, half-caving barns, and leave me be. Vibes. He had built it from the ground up, operated it like a frontier fort. I hadn't laid eyes on him in decades when the phone call came. He'd died, no will, no kids, just me. The city nephew he hardly knew took everything from the shack to the chickens, I figured, on a grim cleanup or maybe a speedy sale to the state, but discovered something strangely serene, not how brochure stuff. The more I mildewed over, the worse it smelled, worse than the dung pile. How does an HOA discover a property that existed before it? That night in the single room with electricity, I searched through Ted's papers. None scorched or goat-chewed and found nada. Nothing seized, nothing tilts, nothing. Simply this surprise cash grab by an HOA that seemed to materialize out of thin air. It seemed as though somebody saying, "Hey, your ghost buddy owes me." Next morning, a woman came to the gate, arms crossed, as though she'd already stated the deed. Blonde, ponytail gold, hoops a mint green coat. She introduced herself as Sharon, naturally, and said, "I'm HOA president. We've been patient this property. He's been a neighborhood blight for decades." I blinked. Lady, my uncle had more cows than neighbors. She didn't crack a smile, just launched into a spiel about community standards and beautification, claiming she'd filed reports for years. Then she slipped me a real estate card. "If it's too much, I can help you sell discreetly." We'd even waive some fines there. It was not just a clipboard nut, but a land shark who'd most likely used to harass Ted for years now that he was away. She treated me like the soft, city fool that'd break. It would be absurd if it wasn't so obvious. That's when it hit me to realize this wasn't about fences or goats. It was a land grab, and they labeled me as spineless. They had no clue. I spent 3 years stuck in municipal law, passed the bar 6 months earlier, and flipped on a dude who ran over hose just for kicks, and most basically that my muddy boots stepped into a thinking head. Plotting a comeback, I smiled, informed her I'd take it into consideration. She pulled back smug with the idea that she'd win out by nightfall. I'd put up a whiteboard reminders, post-it notes scattered around walls, and a notebook captioned, "Who take down bereavement had deserted me." I was training in earnest. Then mailbox ejected in pink-colored envelope, official signature for closure purpose from HO treasurer. I had not yet unloaded, and they had already swung out. They didn't realize they'd just armed me. I was nodding rope days, jumbled rating files, observing Sharon cruise past in her SUV, like some petty thief casing a joint. Mornings yielded new violation notices on the fence stapled. Not mailed, hand deed delivered, goats too loud. Pre-7 a.m., unauthorized, build the 90s chicken coop. Now raccoon territory in my treasure. The scarecrow's menacing stance I expected a fine for excessive dandelions I played. Ignorant smiled, nodded, enabling them to underrate. Me in town, I hired the HOA Charter Community Map by hit the county clerk for founding dates and 90s zoning archives. My jaw clenched slow. The HOA started in 1999 Ted's Ranch. Never on its original map, no covenant signed, no annexation, nothing. It lay outside their grasp like an obstinate ox, and now they were retroactively lassoing it. In Phil appeared no tie, golf shirt, wraparound sunglasses, fresh from a miscalculated putt. Less smug, more rehearsed. He leaned on community harmony, said the fines reflected long-term noncompliance, then offered up a local buyer to take it quietly. If I was stressed, name rhyme with Sharon, I asked. He blinked, grinned like a seedy pole, said, "We don't disclose buyers, but the board wants this friendly." I'd consider it once I saw if my scarecrow was jailbound. He didn't laugh. They never do. Next day, a noise complaint came, rooster too loud. I noted it in my binder. Every fine visit offer, catalog photos, taken timestamps, locked a spreadsheet born. They wanted dirty, I go surgical. Sharon upped it, held a community meeting in the cul-de-sac by my land. No Zoom, just chairs and a podium, like a stump speech. I watched her preach about property value saboteurs. Someone clapped, another asked if the ranch could be condemned. Sharon played deaf Greg, a gas station. Regular waved, awkwardly mouthed. Sorry, I thumbed up. Went inside that night, legal tabs glowed. Precedents of HOAs overreaching on unclaimed land rulings. Clear, no agreement, no power. But I needed intent, malice, a pattern. Then it broke, an online forum post from a 2018 ex-resident, driven out by the same playbook, ghost finds, threats, cheap buyouts. Sharon named, they replied, quick, same story by midnight. I had 5 tales, some anonymous. Some linked to deeds Sharon's crew had bullied anyone blocking their vision. Most folded, I wouldn't. Next morning, a letter duct taped to the barn. Not a fine, but Sharon's hoe stationary, smug but polite. She praised my determination but cautioned. Fighting progress caused costly suffering, proposing a final discussion tomorrow. I gazed unafraid, taken aback by her nerve to make threats in calligraphy. I prepared, cleaned the porch, made coffee, piled. My docs rigged a laptop stand like a war room, concealed a recorder beneath the table. When her SUV pulled up, she emerged, crisp shirt, fake pearls, clipboard, smiling as if she'd triumphed. I smiled back. Sat her down. She droned on about legacy and change, suggested a higher amount, investors ready to strike. What's the HOA's legal basis to find a non-signatory property? I asked. She blinked, brief, but there then spun historical inclusion. Board consistency. I slid the county map across my land, beyond their borders. Her smile wavered. I leaned in low. Sharon, you're trespassing, filing fraud, slandering my title, pursuing illegal foreclosure. You made it personal. I'll make it legal, her slit eyes. Her voice dropped, menacing me. No warning you. She departed quietly. No flair, just fallback. I knew she wasn't done, just cornered a week past quietly. Heavy. Sharon didn't quit. She regrouped. I kept building. Ordered HOA records, copied fines, scanned notices, dug up Ted's tax returns, found a 2004 notarized no HOA letter signed and filed, slam dunk or so. I thought then a restraining order was slipped under my door. You really want this? He growled. You initiated it. He nodded, left, headlights hit later. A black SUV, not hers, brought an envelope deposition demand from a new firm. Not Sharon's, upping the ante. I showed up in crusty boots, wrinkled shirt, bought tie for panache. Their conference room screamed ho, dull carpet, fake fern, water bottles like a truce. 2 suits bookended, Sharon lips, a tight line. Silent lawyers grilled me like I was a squatter. I stayed cool, sarcastic, just right. Why no fines paid? What's your legal hold on a non-HOA ranch? Why records, Sharon? My land, one-party consent state. Work with the HOA, sure straight to court. Sharon's brow flicked. They fumbled. Ted's letter stumped them. The memo spooked them. A break shifted their tune, settlement probes. Sharon glared, fury replacing smug trial. Hit my claim, accepted, damages on the table. The HOA tried ousting Sharon. She blocked it. Dug in. I subpoenaed 5 years of finances. 2 days later, an anonymous board email dropped a spreadsheet. Fines, funding trips, unreported cash. A party matching Sharon's bash. She walked into court, beige suit, Pearl's heels clicking defiance. I wore the bow, my pal hauled docks. The judge sharp, no fluff gave fair time. I unloaded map letter memo tape. Spreadsheet video silence. Fell their side-flailed community intent. Implied consent but crumbled, no jurisdiction. No dice, the judge ruled instant fines void. Foreclosure fraud, Sharon scolded $118,000 to me, liens lifted. She froze, Phil shrunk, the board asked her that night. Unanimous, Phil resigned, the HOA. I turned to PR, I disregarded it, remained steadfast. The coop painted the barn, erected a higher fence, posted a sign. Private property, no HOA, no Sharons. Greg brought pie, the inspector enjoyed my blazer-clad scarecrow. A month later, a note, you win no cinder, I filed it. Not proud, but sure this was Ted's legacy, my stand. The ranch thrives, goats bleat scarecrow. Towers, HOA, steer court, stamped, claiming I'd harass Sharon and Phil. Unwanted visits, threats property. Destruction absurd, but aimed to silence me. Paint me out of control. I called a law school friend. We filed a counterclaim fast attached. My Sharon recording debunked every lie. Monday's hearing was a beige box courtroom. Sharon oozed brunch chic. Phil smirked, their lawyer. A divorce hack fumbled easement like a rookie. I laid out the map, Ted's letter. HOA charter played the tape, Sharon offering to fix my troubles for sale. The judge cut their reply short, threw the order, warned Sharon of phony filings. I left solid, not victorious, but firm. She looked, shook her clipboard. Sliding 2 days later, Greg called emergency HOA meeting. No warning, slipped by a drunk board leak. I parked in front of the clubhouse. Saw Sharon scribbling on a whiteboard. Phil throwing papers around. Some board members blocked one. Gray and Balding stormed out one night. A yellow envelope appeared on my floor. Not mailed, dropped a law firm known to bully settlements. Accused me of interfering with operations. Demanded $5,000 and unsightly structure removal in an HOA memo mint. Internal spilled a zoning loophole plot to annex my ranch over a shared dirt road relying on outdated county regulations. Someone, maybe Baldy, inserted it. I didn't sleep. Rage took over. That memo was gold intent conspiracy evidence. They knew they had no basis. I copied, printed, substantiated it, prepared counterclaim harassment, title slander, process abuse, fraudulent annexation piled on the memo. Map letter tape, Greg's rally clip, punitive damages fees filed it next day. Court stamped game on Sharon. Got served by noon. Phil slunk back. No tie, no swagger, just tired.